Hello my ghouls, my goblins, my goobly goops alike, and welcome back to the channel, where today we're going to be talking about the return of the dead. When you think of 3D platformers, you think of Banjo-Kazooie, Crash Bandicoot, Super Mario, that one weird time where Kirby decided to do it and it was actually pretty good, Jak and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank the old one, Little Big Planet, the new one. They're classics, household names, everyone knows them. I go to all my friends and they always talk about Jak and Daxter. Anyway, Nintendo seems to be the only company that still invests in games like this. Xbox, they never had games to begin with. We don't count them. PlayStation, the staple of gaming. Did they have slogan? How did they advertise their console? Just like, hey, we got one polygon boobies. You gooners want to like buy our thing? And they did. But they had the heavy hitters of the old days. If you couldn't afford a Nintendo, they got the Sackboy, they got the Ratchet, they got the Jak and the Daxter, they got a whole bunch of other ones. And if you check their recent catalog, last time I checked, The Last of Us might not be a 3D platformer. What happened? Who pulled the old yeller and shot all these icons in the face? Well, Sony, obviously. But why did that have to happen? They didn't sell anymore. As soon as those big story games rocketed into the sky and exploded with metaphors that I can't think of right now, the world went crazy. Everyone wanted one of those games. They all wanted to play God of War. They didn't want to play little stupid, stinky nutsack boy. Now, obviously, Nintendo's still flourishing with these 3D platformers, and that's because Nintendo doesn't give a shit. What you tell them, they're just going to take that advice and throw it out the window. They really do not care. But Sony cares about everything. If you piss in their bushes, they will cry themselves to sleep that night. And just like that, the zany, cartoonish icons of at least the PlayStation part of the gaming industry were gone. Well, we got a Ratchet remake, Sackboy spin-off. It was never the same. It never sold the same. Look at the sales for Rift Apart, and you'll actually be really surprised. But you actually won't, because it's Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Oh, and how could we forget Knack? You don't know what Knack is? And I think there's something wrong with you, because I'm pretty sure everyone knows who Knack is. But we'll save my rant about the best game on the planet for another day. For today, we are celebrating another tiny little robot man. Our story starts in the worst place it could. The PlayStation VR. Now don't click off yet, trust me, it gets good. You just gotta get there. So with this big new PlayStation VR, there was a lot of doohickeys that, obviously, Sony wanted to show off. So they tasked one of their teams to make a silly little game. That silly little game would be known as Playroom VR. This, to my knowledge, is the first real showcase of Astrobot as a platformer. I know he appeared in something else before, like a tech demo thing, but this was the first time we had actually seen what he'd look like in a platformer, and everyone fell in love with this. It was so simple, yet so unique. It was so cookie-cutter, yet so revolutionary. And the people wanted more. So naturally, Sony made an entire spin-off VR game. Yes, it's still VR, don't click off. Called... What was it called? Astrobot Rescue Mission, I think? I don't actually remember. It's been forever since I played that game. But it was entire it was just platformer. The last one was minigames. And it was so cool. But it was in VR, so obviously it wasn't the best. And then they dropped the big, fat PlayStation 5. And if you were one of the lucky 2 people that got it, well then, you got to play Astro's Playroom.
Why did I say it like
This
that?
was it. This was the first look at what we now call Peak. There was no VR, and it was a great platformer. Was it still basic? I mean, yeah. It was still a tech demo. But it had so much heart. and it had so many cool little Easter eggs for longtime PlayStation fans. It was just fanboys were all in their pants, you know. You know, us hungry consumers, we wanted more. We needed more. Everyone in the little circle that actually knew about Astrobot knew that it was perfect, and if they just built on it, it could be one of the greatest 3D platformers to bless this earth. I, on the other hand, didn't really care that much, and when they actually announced that Astrobot was getting a full-fledged AAA title, I was kind of frustrated, because I didn't see the potential. Oh my god, am I a stupid motherfucker. Astrobot is the best 3D platformer I have ever played. I love it. I love all the little details. It is just such a love letter to the PlayStation fans and a love letter to gaming as a whole. It's simple, yet it's so different in ways that blow your mind. The physics are crazy. The soundtrack goes hard. Everything about this game is innovative while also sticking to the original formulas that we used to make the greats. And the entire public seems to agree on this. Look at the reviews for Astrobot. 10s and 9s and 9.5s across the board. You know this game is good if even some of the top critics that always poo-poo some of the really good stuff are praising this. All the immersive levels with the unique power-ups, the fun boss fights that aren't too difficult, and the difficult, like, geometric stages that serve for some good rage content. It was all there. This game had everything that we needed that PlayStation lost. If you can't tell, I'm really biased. I grew up with PlayStation. I remember back in ye old days when I was playing Little Big Planet with my dad. You guys remember Tearaway? No? I do. So, I'm gonna hand it off for a minute or so to someone who's a little less biased when it comes to PlayStation. My buddy Drew, or Milp the Dude, got into PlayStation, I want to say like 2 years ago? I don't really remember now. It was when the new Ragnarok came out. But he's not like as nostalgic towards all this stuff as I am. So I feel like maybe he can provide more of a unbiased opinion on it. So yeah, go ahead, man.
Hello, my name is Milk the Dude.
Alright, thank you for your contribution. That's gonna be all for today's video. I'm just messing.
So, what do I like about this game? Well, my favorite thing about it is the cameos from Pyramid Head to Soul Bad Guy to even people like Raiden, but from specifically Revengeance, which is just crazy. Like, I did not think Konami wanted to admit that game existed, even though it's gotten pretty popular recently. And just like the boss fights are amazing. They're great. They all have unique and interesting mechanics that make them all different from each other, and I just think that's really interesting.
Just want to cut in. I don't appreciate how many of the boss fights use the stupid bulldog, alright? We get it, Team Asobi. You really like the bulldog. I don't care.
And the crossover levels, like
Video game, video game, video game.
all like PlayStation classics getting their own levels
Man, where's my boy Croc's level? I think Croc deserves a level.
inside of this new game that's basically like a legacy to PlayStation as a whole. But there is one of these levels that I despise, and that level is the Horizon Zero Dawn level, because why did we need a Horizon Zero Dawn level? There's just so many other PlayStation exclusives that are iconic, like Parappa the Rappa, Bloodborne, Detroit Become Human.
Croc Legend of the Gobos.
Now, those might not make interesting levels,
Except Croc.
you may argue, but I think they would be more interesting than Horizon Zero Dawn. Other than that, I really like this game. I like a lot of things about it, and I'm on a time limit here, so I can't speak for long, so I will turn it back to Matt now. Thank you for having me once again. Goodbye.
Thank you, and yes, I do forgive you for not mentioning Croc, Legend of the Gobos. Overall, Astrobot is amazing, and if you don't have it yet, why? 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 I swear to God, I will come find you. I will enter your house.